Celebrating its recent listing at the NASDAQ, it's known by the operator of sports training programs in Spain.
Yo, we live, baby. You hear the bell ringing in the background. It's 9:30, Friday, October 31st, 2025. Market is open. Lord Jesus, I come to you today as humbly as I can. I pray for the patience to be able to wait for my setup. I pray for the eyes and the intelligence to be able to see my setup when it's formed. Lord Jesus, I pray for the confidence and the conviction to take my trade with courage. Lord Jesus, I pray for a profitable and successful trading day and trading career. All these things we ask in your name. Amen. Share my screen. I was looking up some contracts. See if I could jump in. I believe the market is about to fall. We're coming from this little supply zone I got marked.
$35 to $50 billion a year to us. We're fully in that market today. And by the end of the decade, it's probably well over $100 billion.
Oh, come on.
But at the moment, zero. We're forecasting zero. We're expecting zero. We're hoping for not zero, but we're expecting zero. And we'll do our best and continue to grow the company. He has tried to sway this move politically, Jim. The question is it getting?
Yo, come on, yo. What in the world?
Washington thinks that they work directly for the People's Liberation Army, and the People's Liberation Army, a lot of people feel run the government. I am with Jensen Wong when he says, do you really think the military would do all their work on our chips? It's not their stuff. David, I know that you're following this closely because I know that you talk about how big that market is. I sense that the president, it just wasn't on the agenda even I thought it would be. I'm not sure what.
See if I could jump in the put. I believe the market is gonna come on down. See if I get filled. I did get filled. I seen me coming from this 1 hour supply. 1 hour supply zone.
It's very much unclear what's going to happen in terms of whether they are allowed to sell there and whether the Chinese have any interest in buying the product. Right.
Yes. I thought I shared my screen. I don't know what happened. Go back and try it again.
I thought that Google basically said, listen,
it's not being shared.
And then we have to go back to Meta because remember, I thought that was a very weak conference call because that was one of those, hey, trust us. Now, I trust him because he's a bankable. But
there we go.
Cannot do it, trust us. And now he won't agree with it. That's what I said. I'm just trying to distill the narrative.
So we go to the 1 hour chart. I see we touched this supply zone pre-market, so I'm expecting price to come down, which is doing so far. That's why I jumped into a put. And I am already up 10%. Get my stop loss set at 5%.
As of yesterday, it had vastly outperformed Amazon. Amazon was the laggard of the so-called Mag 7 or the top 10 market cap companies. And it just now they basically have the same performance of the year. In 24 hours, that changed dramatically with this huge ascent in Amazon's price, and of course, that declined yesterday from that.
Well, I think the open-ended nature
of my screen does that.
Other people, it does not bother me because all I care about as a shareholder, I trust the shareholder. I don't want OpenAI to come in to their social vertical, which they keep own. And so it is worth it to say, hey guys, you want to come in? I think you're wasting your time. Why don't you go focus on search and go after Google? Why don't you go focus on retail and go after them? Don't come into our zone. And if you don't come into our zone,
Didn't get my stop set in time. Let me see.
So you're saying if a bear is chasing you, you don't need to be the fastest, you just need to be faster than the other guy.
Exactly. It was they're the bear, and they're the guy David in the race. Who just says, look, I'm going to beat us like a behind. The bear's going to eat maybe Amazon, maybe the bear in school. But they're not going to eat it.
Mark out my previous day high and lows, and I'll mark out that 5-minute candle range.
Like chassis in the previous quarter, which is, hey, you know, I don't know.
Look like we opened up below yesterday's previous high.
By the way, as it relates to NVIDIA, Goldman today does go to 240.
Yes.
They were at 210. Earnings coming up, they're looking for incremental.
Just gonna start using the trend line.
As you said, the OpenAI deployment.
Right, well, the Ruby ramp is really interesting. Is what I meant, Jensen, talking about the Ruby ramp. This is going to be, it can reason and it can do video. And one of the things that was filled in on the otherwise sketchy, not negative sketchy, but lacking in codes and fun. The video is going to be really good for advertising. And by the way, Amazon has had tremendous luck with advertising using video. I think that the reason why NVIDIA is so important to Meta is we got to have it anytime we have the video for everything. For our time, for power. We need a video for everything.
Previous day low.
Well, that's consuming an enormous amount of shit. And that's the problem. Slower too. And you're just going to use, I mean, look at it.
Let me use these lines instead of boxes to mark off my previous day highs and lows.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about? I thought that the energy complex that they're putting in Louisiana was going to be a huge part of their mosaic of power. They're saying
Previous day low. 10:30, 25.
The rest of the people, because they're not spelled out like that, I think a lot of
We
people
opened up below yesterday's high.
Well, set the bond, people say you give a blind check.
Nothing, I mean, speaking of data centers, you know, Stargate's going to Michigan, you guys saw this. 4.5 gigawatts partnership with Oracle. Again, the numbers are just astounding in terms of the build-out that's taking place. That's related. That's the real estate company that's obviously moving very strongly to the data centers. Stargate Michigan is being developed by related. Construction will begin early in 2026. And they're talking about.
Let's see if we get some down pressure.
500 to 510 gigawatt commitment that obviously was made by Stargate, which was OpenAI, Oracle, something.
Maybe we're looking at this whole wrong way. Maybe what we have to say is we have to be thinking in a different neighborhood, whether it's inflation, whether it's new business. Because that's when Eisenhower said, listen, we got to build federal interstate highways. And that's going to cost like $600 billion. When $600 billion is $600 billion, without changing our budget. Even though it sounds like $600 billion, like when Jay Gould decided to have an actual rail system, we're just shocking. We have to maybe just stop being shocked.
I know, but when you build a road, that road is going to work no matter what happens. These chips are evolving, and we don't know which standard is going to be long term.
But I'm a big trader who says, look, the one thing you have to do, you can't grow, you don't need to grow these chips into the
Right, it all goes back to the depreciation of a GPU and a data system. By the way, you did see the Core Scientific deal die.
He was the greatest thing.
He said it was a bit. The vote went against them dramatically, 80%, I think, against them.
What do you think about my idea that we're thinking too small?
All right, I did get my stop loss set.
It takes what it takes. It costs what it costs. I mean, this is just a part of the industrial revolution. We want to be in it.
Got 5% locked in.
Nobody's questioning that, at least at the big companies.
No, it's just amazing. I think that's the problem. We got to get away from the wonderment. Why? Because this is the new world where you're going to have to think, those guys have to spend trillions.
So you're saying that capital cannot be allocated for them? Correct.
Yes.
That's a silly thing to say.
Oh, okay, Mr. Dinner Amazon now.
I did not say that. I asked the question. And therefore, I'll ask the question here. Because the answer was,
I'm saying that the spend is reasonable. A lot of things ridiculous.
so even though we graduated
graduated from a free cash flow story now to you saw the numbers of financing in September and October.
They want to get ahead of it. That I don't like that because that's more railroad than it is interstate highway. It's interstate highway's government. But I just think it's 10% for these companies. I just think that if
I can move my stop loss up to 10%.
Should we go after social? It's the greatest market in the world. There's $3.5 billion. There's someone who just says, no, that one we're not going to. That's no. We're not going to mix the social. And that's what's happening right.
All right, guys, quick foray into the world of media for on that. Please, I have to put an update, a weekly update on where things stand for I still like it as a story. It's still an important one, of course, so that people connect with their properties.
Got 10% locked in.
And the company is obviously in the sale process, as we have indicated, and that continues. By the way, it's one of our stock is up in front of these reports about Netflix interest, which we had previously reported.
Just so y'all, I thought I did show in the beginning, but let me go back. Got my supply zone right here in the red. I seen the price come up and react nicely during the pre-market, push down. So that's why I jumped in and put at the open. And price is pushing down. I am up 36%. I locked in 10%.
Certainly, Netflix, as I reported, is interested. We'll get into some of those why it would be and why it might not be, but in terms of actual bid. But the data room's open.
We are just breaking that 5-minute range. See if I can find an entry on the 1 minute. Okay, so we do got a little gap right there.
Netflix, and then after that, kind of falls off. Will Disney take a look? Sure. Are they likely to do something?
See if we get a pull back up into this gap.
Down yet again this morning after earnings yesterday, down because of Charter, which by the way is also down after they reported a loss of over 100,000 broadband subs. Yes, they're growing wireless, as is Comcast. The market doesn't seem to care. You start off with that stock price, trading at 6 times earnings, 5 times capital, 14%, 15% free cash flow. How do you use that as currency, though, becomes a key question. And therefore, if you want to do this, and by the way, they are aggressively looking at it from everything I understand. The teams of people really taking a look, trying to figure it out. But it doesn't mean they're going to get there, because you are impeded by your stock price, which you really want to trade that as currency. If you really want to take that, if you want to go with Discovery, all right, you do another structure. I mentioned this yesterday. Spin off NBC and the studio and Peacock and the theme parks into a new co. Maybe even Brian Roberts says, this time I'm willing to give up my 33% vote, but how do you value that? Really get
got 20% locked in.
The key questions there that we've mentioned many times. How do you structure a deal to ensure that you're going to compensate them if it gets stopped by regulators? A huge reverse break fee, so many different gating issues. That doesn't mean Comcast is not going to try to figure it out and put a number in there of some kind or some sort of an offer. As for Netflix, clearly the currency is a much better one. You'd be happy to take it. You might even take it at a lower price in some way. Who knows? But where that stock trades, the multiples it trades at, that is helpful to them. The library of HBO, you can imagine that on the Netflix platform. Think about Succession or Game of Thrones and the success they would have. Series first. And the studio. That said, what do you do with HBO? Does it really just become a tile for you? Is it a must-have? They've certainly indicated no, Jim. It's a thing you like to have, but not a must-have. And so again, the question is, will they be really there at the end of this process? Which, by the way, as I've indicated, you're in due diligence now. You'll move through that period, let's call it towards Thanksgiving, and then it's probably Thanksgiving.
All right, I'm kicked out. I'm pretty sure. Got a quick little profit.
And then there's Paramount, which would still seem to be
Price could get up here in this fair value gap area. I'll look to jump back in.
There seems to be a belief that they will be even more successful in terms of at least no air around the deal that they might propose. And so, I don't know where things stand right now, guys. guys. Just wanted to sort of update with a sense in terms of how the calendar is going to work here. And then, Disney, sure, sign an NDA, take a look, but you're not going to. Apple, no. Amazon, I'm hearing unlikely.
So if I could jump in.
All in all, I'd rather be in pounds here, which just was too
Mark off this 15-minute low.
Did you raise your target on pounds?
I don't believe I got filled.
50, I said 100, 100, I said 150, 150, I said 200. And sure enough, last night, $199.
I don't think I got filled. Let's see. No, I did not get filled.
I think it's having a monster quarter. I think they're doing some work with the defense department. It's really great. I really think that this thing is got more legs. I know that sounds great. I know it sounds heretical, but it is. It does have it. You ontologist. No, it really does. They're really, really good. It's just some stupid book. I'm sure. I don't worry about that. I'm not. I'll be spam. No, I really like. I like what's going on. If you're doing the rule of 80, it is, and it's. Remember, this is a profitable company. This is not one of those companies that people are playing with one. I have to like Reddit and they had a good quarter, but it's not a stock that's being juiced. It's a company that is really doing very hard, and it just keeps winning. I know the RTX guys were like, listen, they got that one. They did get a military project, but they can't do it in scale.
Got a liquidity sweep on this 15-minute low.
I need them to come into Boeing, which is a really big hurdle, by the way, and really fix that situation. And they can do it. They are you. They're you company. And I think that this thing is going on.
No, because this is like in the middle of nowhere.
Chicago PMI for that will turn to Rick Santelli. Happy Friday, Rick.
Happy Halloween. And yes, we are getting some of the PMIs. We get confidence numbers. They don't go through the government. Chicago's October read on PMI comes in better than expected. 43.8. You're expecting a number closer to 42.5. There's good and there's bad. This is the best since 12 July of this year, but that's still an improvement, sequentially higher than our final read last month at 40.6. Here's the fly in the ointment. This is the 23rd consecutive month in contraction territory, meaning under 50. The last month to be an expansion.
Got fair value gap right here.
Of 23. Right
So
now,
we're gonna respect it.
10-year, we're basically down 2 basis points on the day, but we're up 8 basis points on the week. But 2 years up 11 basis points on the week. And remember,
supply zone right here.
are higher in yield than they were before the September 25 basis point cut. Lesson to be learned here: we can all wish the Fed lowers rates. That doesn't mean the market's going to go along with it. Swap on this bigger return after a short break.
The Bond Report is brought to you by PIMCO, a global leader in active fixed income.
A lot of people say they don't invest because they don't know where to start. I say start with yourself. When you join SoFi Plus, you get $1,000 plus in annual value. Their highest savings if you lie with SoFi Bank.
All right, I jumped in another put based on the downward pressure and price coming back up to this fair value gap right here. That's my reason for jumping in. Let's see if this gap holds.
So when my doctor prescribed Biggar Hydrulo self-injection for my generalized myasthenia gravis,
Let's see if we can break this 15-minute low.
It's my treatment. It's my way.
You're gonna kill it for weekend ISD.
It's travel ready. It can go where I go.
Self-injection fits my plans. Do not use Biggar Hydrulo if you're allergic to its ingredients. It may increase infection risk and cause serious
structure on a 15-minute. So we got like a little 15-minute supply right here that was created.
Most common side effects include respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions.
If I did go back to self-injection.
Reducing eye symptoms. That's treatment. By the way, ask earlobes.
see is what you get. No, I just starting at $20.
And we also just created, or we're about to create a 1 hour supply zone right here.
Taking care of ourselves is
Mark that off. See how price act once it leaves this zone. If it comes back up to retest it.
We are better as teachers. We are feeling healthy and strong, and it is very hard to do that when you're feeling down. I've got a whole classroom of you don't want to miss a day.
Alright, so price respects this fair value gap right here.
I'm telling you, these franchise.
See the price gonna respect that FVG.
Watching it today, CEO making some comments. We did get a target hike, I think, over at Truist. They did 270, stocks up double digit.
This is the cheapest, third largest site, by the way, easiest, greatest place to advertise. Very inexpensive versus the others with a white print. Let's go qualified audience. Steve Hoffman is good. This thing's good enough. I'm not kidding. That's how good this thing is. They have the best advertising platform.
Right. Anytime you saw some month-to-date winners as we wrap up October. On the list, Jim, AMD, Micron, Teradyne, CAT.
CAT is the outlier there, but remember, CAT is data center. But again, once again, Jim Hoffman changed that company into a powerhouse secular grower. Never asked for credit. Was in the box with me watching the Cowboys game. Never seen him. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I had to introduce him to someone, a regular person, because he did not. He was like
Possible liquidity sweep on this 5-minute low.
Yes. So we're holding close to 60.
We got 3 of the Mag 7 in red.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around yield? An abacus book of management would restate the financial training around the most crucial data when possible. Is control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we empower investors with an integrated system to take command of what matters most: your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Welcome to Abacus Global Management.
Dear Dr. K, I used to think I was never meant to be beautiful. I was teased because of my teeth. I feel like the person looking back at me in the mirror. I never thought I could avoid these implants. You and your team work within my budget and help me feel confident in the plan we made together. I love how you smile. Thank you.
Congratulations, Cynthia. Introducing our new lifetime warranty on zirconia arches. Only at Clear Choice. Call to schedule a free consultation. KKR are expanding access to
Just about at break even.
Weeknights. When you have stocks with market capitalizations that are larger than some countries' GDPs, the behemoths that deserve index consideration for their work. Weeknight 6 Eastern, streaming on CNBC Plus.
Should be wanting to go up here in a minute. Based off of this candle right here, closing within this 5-minute range. I'm just playing the momentum right now.
T-Mobile stays caught up in untruths. AT&T keeps building what matters. America's most reliable network. Right?
I got my 30-minute range.
There's no comparison. Plain tone, strong signal, nothing better. Ebenezer, I am
Please don't do that, Taps. Turns out, all this bar humbug business was just me sleep out here. With this inspired implants, I'm mad. Last night at supper, I even left the tea.
Come on down here to this globe over here. Let's hit the bottom of this range, hit this 15-minute low. Now I'll be golden.
Let's get legitimate stuff trading.
And how to make money in any market. My book, I talk about how to get individuals involved.
We got 4 to mag, 7 to red. Apple just flipped red from green.
This is the beginning of a recognition the institutions shouldn't be the only people who are involved, because even though they create no value splits, I mean, they do bring people in, and it's terrific. And I bet you're going to see a big wave of them, and it's going to make it even more interesting. I cite the interesting individuals.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last scene today. Twilio was up 15. Goldman Sachs software up 10 to 15 each of the last 2 Novembers.
Yeah, and that, the enterprise software, one of the worst areas in the market, and that's making a big comeback. I know Salesforce is trying, ServiceNow obviously.
So far as respecting this gap.
I think that this is one of those moments where we really have to just say to ourselves, is the individual and really wants individual stocks, and I think they do. There's been this
And we got this 1-minute supply right here also.
It has to be in index funds, and then along comes a man by fried chicken for everybody in line in South Korea, and basically creates $5 trillion in wealth for individuals, these institutions.
That's like another little 1-minute supply right there
They're
too.
not in Chipotle, Jim, or Paychecks or ADP.
You gotta get Chipotle to come back here.
Right. What's on tonight?
Okay.
Well, actually,
I have a Columbia Sportswear, which is just doing horribly, frankly. And then Patrick Doyle, who restaurant brands, he's bringing. I was having a problem with one Frankfurt.
supply right there off of this
This guy bringing it long.
green candle.
I will try. Yeah, and remember Jackson came in high, major show.
And this other little 1-minute supply.
So Jackson was like, oh my God, it's a great boost.
So we'll see tonight. Yeah, at 96 family swing times. Holding on to some gains, although equal weight indices are underperforming again today. I'll watch that stay with us.
This supply respected.
Can't teach that. Okay. 20% for severe big guys. That's it. I got 70 pro. What? What do you say?
That highlight itching, crusties, and swelling that won't go away? It could be.
Like this 5-minute supply right here. We got this 5-minute supply right here.
It's time to eliminate the root of the problem with X-Therapy. With one drop of each eye twice a day, you can kill the mites in just 6 weeks. X-Therapy is the first and only treatment that kills the mites that cause Demodex blepharitis, a common eyelid disease. Avoid pushing the tip of the bottle to your eye or other surfaces to minimize contamination. Wait 15 minutes before inserting contact lenses. In clinical trials, the most common side effect was skin and burning in 1 out of 10 patients.
And we got a 5-minute gap right here. A 5-minute gap and a supply right here. It's a lot of pressure to push it down. See how it's going to react.
Conference slogans, hard, conference swag, easy. Move forward with custom.
Down about 8% right now. I'm on the play. See what this 1-hour candle looking like. It just closed. Okay. 1-hour candle closed. We getting candle under candle right here. That's good pressure. We up underneath this trend line. And we have all of this area that's flat and smooth. Price likes to gravitate to flat and smooth, unchoppy areas. The rest of this gap needs to fill, and we have demand, big demand right up underneath it. Down about 4%. So looking bearish at the moment. Still pushing down from this supply. Getting candle under candle. Not really overlapping. See what the 15-minute looking like.
YouTube TV is what customers with ESPN and ABC go into big weekend sports. Let's not go with the results from those two tech mega caps against the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's see a break of structure on 30 minutes. Got a 30-minute supply. Now break the structure. Change the character. Break the structure, that 30-minute supply. About a 15-minute gap right there. It's looking real bearish. Real bearish.
The tone of executives on the call. Obviously, several days ago, Amazon announced these
Come on down, baby. About 4% down still. Look like it's trying to find support over here at this 15-minute low. I mean, yeah, that's that 15-minute low. Look like it's trying to find some support right there. If we don't break through this 15-minute low, I was looking forward to turn back up here before it drops some more. But look like it might get below that 15 low. We at break even. At break even on the trade. I'm up 5%. As soon as I could get up a little bit, I'm gonna lock in that 5%. See if I get another position. Close below there. So, got another little 5-minute supply created.
6%. And Tim Cook actually told me they could have sold more iPhones if they weren't supply constrained from strong demand. That actually applied to the iPhone 16, which the last biggest sales happened So what do we look at next? Of course, it's artificial intelligence. Cook did tell us that the AI update to Siri is on track to launch next year, and gave us some hints at the strategy there, partnering with other AI leaders instead of building it all in-house on their own. Here's what he told me, quote, in terms of the integration, we've integrated with ChatGPT, and our intention is to integrate with more people over time. So who are the likely candidates? Google Gemini, of course, that kind of opened up after that big DOJ case, and then there's Anthropic's Claude as well, guys.
This is all really interesting, Stephen, and I was reading through sort of the commentary to Tim Cook, or to you from Tim Cook, and I know you brought up the supply constraint. Has that been, I guess, the reason why we saw the disappointment in the iPhone revenue in this quarter, despite this bullish remarks about what is to come? What was the supply constraint? Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, in fact, I asked him that directly. Was it something else? He just said no, just demand was too strong for us to catch up. But what was interesting there, Courtney, is keep in mind the September quarter is only like 9 or 10 days of iPhone 17 sales, because they're not on sale at the end of September. He even said the 16 was supply constrained, but even at the end of the life for the iPhone 16, people were still buying it right up to the very end. So just demand across the board, and that's going to translate over into the December quarter. I'll also note that iPhone Air was delayed by a couple weeks in China. That could have impacted things as well. Tim Cook told me that's going to pull forward as well, and he sees that kind of that demand kind of catching up now that it's on sale in China.
Really interesting stuff. Great job with Tim Cook there. Obviously shares down 0.4%, but some of the bullish remarks, Tim Cook saying it was off the chart, and then a run of the table from the CFO talking about services. Thank you so much, Steve. And stocks are largely on pace for another positive week as they close out another positive month, but there may be some cracks on the hood according to some data this week from Bespoke Investment Group, which found that Tuesday of this week marked the worst day for market breadth in the S&P 500 on a positive day since 1990. Nearly 400 stocks in the index fell as it rose nearly 0.25%. Let's bring in Mohammed. She's head of investment strategy at Edward Jones to talk about the broader markets. There's been so much for us to talk through here, Mona. I'm not even sure where to start, but we kind of just ran through some earnings. So maybe let's move a little bit backwards to the Fed, because now December seems like what's going to happen. I think earlier in August we were on CNBC and we said we're thinking maybe 2 cuts this year. So are we done?
Yeah, look, Jerome Powell definitely bought himself some optionality, some flexibility on Wednesday. We do think, and he quoted, we're driving a little bit.
All right, we got Phil on the second position. Based on these gaps in the supply zone, price them ran back up into.
Rates to a neutral level, which we think is around 3.5% over the next 6 to 12 months. So they may go gradually, but we think before his term is up, he'd like to see the Fed funds rate more at a rate that they can then go either higher or lower as needed, depending on economic conditions.
How do you see the labor market right now?
So all data signals are pointing to a softening labor market. So I do think that is something that's
at break even.
We are not seeing though a softening turn into something more deep or precarious.
At break even right now.
The alternative data is pointing in the same direction that the actual data was pointing in. Hopefully we'll get more clarity. But this is a labor market that we're seeing lower demand, lower supply overall. So some equilibrium. We want to make sure that doesn't turn into a downturn.
So that's sort of the macroeconomic picture. Obviously, we have these big tech earnings. Then when you're looking through some of these results, some obviously stronger than others. Amazon,
could be wanting to push up from here.
All of the businesses within
Could be really wanting to push up from here.
I look at the retail component, the e-commerce component, and those sales were up 10%, pretty strong going into the holidays when some are worried about the consumer.
Yeah, it's a great call out. Look, first of all, it's hard to imagine back in April, we were all worried about the AI tech trade, whether it was tariffs, whether it was DeepSeek. These companies have not only delivered, they continue to reaffirm CapEx guidance, spending the year ahead. So this is still a strong story in our view. But to your point, the stock reactions, one, have been somewhat mixed. So maybe some of it is getting priced in at this point. But two, we are watching to see, first of all, we're up 35% from the lows. Can we continue at this pace on an ongoing basis? Will there be some slowdown in the consumer? What we are saying more broadly is that we do think 2026, we could see some positive momentum factors. A lower Fed funds rate, tax bill that's kicking in, and the economy continues to deliver next year.
So the Trump G meeting, it felt like there was such big buildup. We were wondering for so long, are they going to meet? When are they going to meet? And then we had the meeting, and it was, what do you think of it?
Yeah, look, I think is an important component for AI, the semiconductors, the technology trade overall. So that part of the story remains intact. What we say more broadly is tariffs are here to stay. Thus far, we haven't seen a meaningful rise in inflation. We're watching goods inflation closely, but the good news is CPI basket is 2/3 services inflation, and that's steady out. So we'll be watching that
5% locked in on that one.
Do you think that we will see this tariff impact? I've heard some people say it's going to be a one-time impact. Okay, when is the one time? And how big is it going to be? Yeah, we still think it'll play out over the next 3 to 6 months. But we could see some good inflation rising. But the positive or silver lining there is it's probably not as impactful as what we thought back in April. And that's because some companies have passed it on, some companies have absorbed it. There's a lot of supply chains across the board. So a good mix of factors contributing to that continued inflation.
There is a school of thought that a lot of prices are set on annual contracts, so we haven't seen that really feed in. The effective tariff rate likely is still going a little higher on average from here. My question to you, Gerald's got a piece this morning about home cancellations, home purchase cancellations.
I ain't about to have 5% locked in on both of these positions.
Shares of ADP, shares of paychecks are not what you want to see if you were looking for a rebound in the market.
Yeah, I think the housing market is something that we have to watch carefully. It's a big part of the U.S. economy.
Alright.
Mortgage rates hit their lowest
Got my
level in over a
profit
year.
secured. Not much, but something. And we're right teetering at my 5% kick out.
The labor market does deteriorate more. That's not really the backdrop we're going to see a massive pickup in home prices and in home sales overall. But I think the factors are in place. This is a year now where the Fed is finally bringing rates down. This is a year where cyclical parts of the market have the opportunity to perform. And this is a year where if you're a small business doing CapEx or R&D spending, you're getting a nice tax deduction in 2026 for that. So a lot of, we think, factors that could actually support the broader housing market. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Just over 30 minutes into the trading session, three of the movers we're watching on this Friday. Netflix shares moving higher after the company did next that 10-to-1 split. It's currently one of only 10 stocks in the S&P with a price of $1,000 a share. Split takes effect November 17.
Okay, you could get a close below this 15-minute low. That would be excellent. Come up and kick me out. Like they want to come up and kick me out. They trying to kick me out, trying to kick me out. Don't want to see me get no big profits, baby. Damn sure need more than 5%, but at least I got it locked in. I won't lose nothing. 5% is better than losing. You heard? They trying to kick me out. They trying to kick me out. 15 minutes left on this trade. I mean on this live.
Against an AI spending bubble. Why Goldman Sachs says the spending is not too big. Back after this break.
So we did get a close below the 15-minute.
To make their website user experience seamless and simplify access to product information for customers. We build enterprise websites like this all the time. Through a fully integrated digital transformation, WebsiteTech.com is now in fact mobile optimized website with an engaging user experience. For complete website and digital solutions, go to AmericanEagle.com.
Yeah, they about to kick me out. They about to kick me out. Yeah, they about to kick me out, son. They gonna kick me out and then take off. Yep. Got kicked out of both of my plays. So I got 3 wins for 5% each.
CNBC's deliberate alpha returns. A live event with exclusive access to the world's best investors. Get your tickets now at deliberatealpha.com. Davis chemical work has taken a strange turn. Breast cancer. Oh, fuck. Yeah. This is wonderful news. She's sleeping deeply enough to dream. That's your spine effect. And they're sleeping better too. If CPAP doesn't work for you, check out the spine therapy. A proven sleep apnea treatment. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Learn more at USAFinfo at spinesleep.com. If you get this fixed now, get this fixed now. Get this fixed now. 4 interest-free payments at SafeLine.com. SafeLine, hair, SafeLine place.
So if you're trying to sweep this 15-minute low, push up off the top of this black gap.
Joined in separate remarks by the non-voting Dallas Fed President Hillary Clinton, off the Dallas for December rate cuts. They're saying it was essentially against a quarter-point cut because we looked around the economy and didn't see policy restricting very much of anything. Meanwhile, he's concerned about inflation running above the Fed's 2% target.
You got
Policies that should be against the fact that inflation running too high and above target. The labor market sees the balance. The economy is showing some momentum. Inflation declines is spreading categories against goods and services. He went on to note that the financial market conditions appear to be easy, including equities being at record highs and bond spreads during now. He thinks the economy accelerated through the summer, and Dallas's falling Logan had a similar take, saying, quote, the economic outlook really calls for cutting rates. She thinks it's going to be hard for her to support a cut again in December unless inflation is falling faster or the labor market is cooling more than has been forecast. Inflation, she believes, is taking too long to return to the 2% target. Stock market gains, meanwhile, are fueling wealthier household demand. The comments show the level of resistance that Fed Chair Powell faces coming at this meeting, and what prompted him to warn that the December cut is not a done deal. But moving it, they have been more hawkish, and we haven't heard from those who supported the cut, but it does put on notice of a divided Fed that includes some real strong opponents out there for the reason that.
got this little 1 minute fair value gap right
You know,
here.
Steve, this is quite interesting, and I guess it just puts so many things into question. Does this, for you, I know the odds of the December rate hike have come down, but does this sort that even further fuel to the fire for you?
I mean, it definitely, it really explains why, where Powell was coming from, what might have been going on in that meeting. You know, it did really have 20 votes for the cut, so there's support for that. But it sounded, it must be that some of the members who supported the cut said, I'm good this time, but not next time. Now you have both Schmidt and Logan coming forward. They weren't even in favor of the last cut. So it seems to me that I'm still seeing a 68% confidence in December cut voting. So I wonder if the market remains out over its skis. It didn't really pay much attention going into the meeting that December was a doubt, and then it seems to still be up there and pretty confident that they're going to get a cut for December.
Could be reversing.
Now that we know this, and to your point, maybe we know a little bit more into what Powell was thinking when he said things like multiple times that December is not a foregone conclusion.
Could be reversing. I don't see no
the discussion in the room rather than the
for
live data
indications to continue down.
or is it sort of both combined that December is now a bit more of a question than it was 2 days ago?
The answer is yes to that. Question quickly. It's the fog. It's inflation running easy now. What I'm looking for now, my reporting will be now, is trying to figure out where's the default position. Does the economy have to prove that it needs a cut, or is it the other way around? That they have to prove that a cut is not needed. And I think a lot of that's going to come from looking at the job data, the affirmative job data we have. We do get a jobless claims report that shows they remain relatively muted. It's an alternative report that adds up all the states, misses a few states, but generally knows where we're at. So when I hear these folks talk today, I hear the idea the economy has to prove that it needs a cut with noticeably weaker labor data that we don't even have, but the alternative has to be weaker. The ADP data actually accelerated. We're not getting weak ADP data. So it's a tough call. More Fed speak to come. We get the office
structure.
He's the Cleveland Fed president. Then we also have Raphael Boston, and I'm sure there'll be more next week. So we're looking for that default position.
Yeah,
What the gap?
also today, people are even pointing to Amazon online sales up 8 year on year. Kind of that collision, like I was saying, that was the comment I made in the last guy. You guys are having this discussion of all these point stuff, and I know that the average stock is not there, but all the stuff that you guys were talking about with Jim and David at the top of that show is crazy. It's like, how do you cut links into this kind of booming investment economy with stocks trending the way they are? This is what the Fed is saying. They're saying, I can't find the reason for the rate cut. Yes, really quick. How often today? How often does a member not dissent, but then come out later and say, I wish I could have dissented?
Could be wanting to reverse.
It's a good question, Alpha. The people who don't vote act like they are members of the committee. It really is no difference. They all get to speak with the media. They all get to voice their opinion. They don't have to go out. Logan will vote next year, so it's really important to watch her right now. Schmidt votes now, and then we'll see Hammond. I don't remember exactly when. I think Cleveland goes next year as well. So it's important to listen to her opinion. Boston's been kind of in the middle. I am super interested.
5 minutes left in the stream.
Super interested in where Raphael Boston will go.
Steve Banks, a lot to process this week. It's just come at us at 100 miles an hour. Steve, listen to this one. When we come back, the AI spending boom is not too big. That's the takeaway from Goldman. We're going to dive into a wide and watch reports.
Still got candy with me, candy on these 30 minutes.
TV had a big college football Saturday. The latest on those negotiations for the Big 12.
See price get back up here to this area for a reaction.
These are convenient plans that offer all of the benefits of original Medicare plus extra coverage and benefits. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you can get doctor, hospital, and prescription drug coverage with one convenient plan. With $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions, all plans include dental coverage, including $0 copays for covered preventive services, vision coverage with eye exams, and an allowance to use towards eyewear, and hearing benefits with routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing.
Some 1 minute supply right there. Touch.
Because Humana offers plans with $0 or no monthly plan premiums. You may also get $0 copays for routine vaccines and retail pharmacies, $0 copays for in-network primary care visits, and $0 copays for in-network preventive services. Plus, worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. And Medicare Advantage plans ensure that covered medical costs, including doctor and emergency care, will never go above a maximum out-of-pocket amount that you know beforehand. Imagine benefits like these in one convenient plan. Plus, you'll have access to Humana's multiple large plan networks of doctors, hospitals, and pharmacies. So if you want more from Medicare, call or scan the QR code now to see if there's a plan in your area that will give you extra coverage and benefits, including coverage for doctor, hospital, and prescription
You're looking at
drugs,
5 minutes supply.
medical costs. All plans include coverage for dental, vision, and hearing.
Yeah, actually did.
Licensed Humana sales agent will explain your coverage options. Even though you can roll over the phone, call today. But now is the time. The annual enrollment period ends December.
The stream about to end in about 3 minutes. Just watching to see if it reacts off of this 5-minute supply. This is a fake out right here. Right, it just swept this low liquidity. Fake like it was gonna go up just to hit this supply and come back down. That's what I'm trying to see. And we also got this fair value gap right there. So it could run up as high as that fair value gap and that supply and then drop down. I'm not seeing no real down pressure reaction yet. But as always, just documenting my journey, creating a trade journal to go back and look on. Got the 30-minute. Still candle under candle on this 30-minute. Lower highs on the 15-minute. Hey, well, we'll see. Look like I'm getting a little reaction right here. Just need this body of this candle to get a little bit smaller, push down. But hey, we had 3 successful trades for 5% apiece. We'll take it. Every little bit added up and it counts. I'm really trying to decide if I'm going to come on here every day or just a couple days a week. But anyway, keep your notifications on so that way you can tune in when I get on here and trade live. I look like I'm getting some reaction out of there now. Look like I'm getting some reaction. Look like I'm getting some reaction. Let me see what this 1 minute looking like. Am I getting any type of engulfings? Yeah. Yeah, I am. All right, so keep it G, keep it P, all that good stuff. Until next time, I spin the block. Y'all be all right. Y'all be good. Keep God in your heart. Keep God in the midst of everything you do. Keep joining your heart. Each one teach one. Help someone. Say some kind words to someone. All right? Peace. I'm look like I'm getting a reaction. I'm getting a reaction. Look like I'm about to jump in and go short. Look like I'm about to jump in and go short.